Hello everyone and welcome to my Hip Hop Gossip For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Larry Jackson's outrageous claim regarding Drake's catalog is revisited by Joe Budden. Amidst Drake's legal action accusing Spotify and Universal Music Group of exaggerating the commercial performance of A Not Like Us, the Joe Budden podcast recently took a trip down memory lane. They specifically discussed this action in light of Drizzy's purported attempts to bargain for a more generous contract and his own financial gains in the business. Budden mentioned a discussion with Larry Jackson, the CEO of Gamma, who claimed that the Toronto superstar's discography is worth more than the combined value of the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s. This ultimately resulted in several suggested routes. In order to establish his value, Joe Budden first suggested that Drake should go in that corner and renegotiate with everyone. However, ICE disputed this story, arguing that if UMG doesn't increase his compensation or ends his talks, he may have a difficult time winning. Budden countered that if the OVO tycoon is unhappy with the way the talks go, he most certainly has a way out. Ish further connected this with other actions, such using unusual cover art, and stated that he intended to use this legal action as a way to KU, the label, and to break his contract. The Joe Budden podcast even went so far as to speculate that Drake's current output may be affected by these anti-label tactics. The gang believed that Certified Lover Boy was a throwaway, and these alleged label problems may have contributed to his apparent lack of effort. This may go a bit further across the aisle than is necessary because, of course, we doubt that the boy himself would describe his art as such. In conclusion, however, the host of the Joe Budden podcast, who goes by the same name, made the argument that too many people had a vested interest in keeping Drake under a label. Father Time does not yet know if this legal filing will be successful in court, but it could have far-reaching consequences. We'll have to wait and see if this repeats history or alters it. Because Kendrick Lamar and Kanye West are such iconic hip-hop musicians, their back catalog continues to sell better than the majority of this year's rap releases. The fact that the former's 2012 masterpiece is still selling better than one of the latter's most recent works, and undoubtedly one of 2024's most anticipated and well-received releases, is remarkable. Furthermore, according to reports, Ye anti-IGN's Vultures 1 surpassed Good Kid, Mad City as the 9th best-selling hip-hop album in the US by total units in 2024. Perhaps we shouldn't be so shocked, given that GKMC is still ranked rather high on the Billboard 200 and even broke into the top 20 earlier this year. Furthermore, it's not as though Kanye West anti-IGN's Vultures 1 was a particularly well-liked or frequently played album. For better or worse, songs like Carnival and Burn were persistent standouts throughout the year, and the LP, of course, did quite well commercially. With the championship year that K. is currently having, it seems pointless, but perhaps the legacy of the joint effort will change in the future and lay a stronger foundation. This year, Kendrick Lamar released GNX to great fan and commercial acclaim. It was the icing on the cake following an intense confrontation with Drake, killing the party, and creating excitement for his Super Bowl halftime performance in February of next year. However, we are confident that several of Kanye West's charting hits, such as My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Graduation, may easily surpass that new record in terms of sales in a typical calendar year. However, there is one thing that Kendrick Lamar and Kanye West have in common: their ostensibly complex relationships with J. Cole. However, we don't really know how things stand between Kendrick and Cole at the moment. The Dreamville boss, however, has a tentative respect for Ye that he doesn't appear to share. Perhaps he would have outsold GKMC this year if he had channeled his energy into a more cohesive album than Vultures 1. Due to the enormous popularity of his new album GNX, Kendrick Lamar will continue to dominate the market in 2024. Furthermore, according to Hits Daily Double's final forecasts, the new project will launch at the top of the Billboard 200 albums list with 325K album equivalent units sold in its first week. Given the absence of promotion, it's quite an accomplishment, but since it's it was bound to succeed nonetheless. Though these are only preliminary figures, it appears that the best-case scenario for this LP is what will occur, possibly even more, based on earlier forecasts. Physical sales should propel it into a solid second week, and it might debut with a touch over that amount. Even Kendrick Lamar, who is too well known as a rapper to not have high expectations for his album releases, may be surprised by the level of success he achieved in the business world. For instance, this year's Vultures won by Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign was outsold by his Good Kid, Mad City album from 12 years ago. Discussions of Kendrick Lamar's GNX elsewhere focus more on the song's content, as Absol's latest analysis of Heart PT6. He commented on Instagram Live, "I'm very honored," in reference to Kendrick's shout-out. "My brother is that. I promise that I researched him more than he studied me. As a professional recording artist, he was the one who taught me the most. I simply wanted to be extremely clear about that. Simply put, I am the greatest rapper and the BOAT. Ask anybody. I say that with humility. It's not out of a sense of pride. I actually do this. No matter how you look at it, GNX is a hit with everyone, and well-known people like LeBron James have already praised it. TV Off only served to energize LeBron prior to a game, but nevertheless. We wonder how much further this new endeavor will go, but it's obvious that Kendrick Lamar struck a chord with audiences in one way or another. It has been the icing on the cake for 2024. And stated that he intended to use this legal action as a way to KU the label and to break his contract. The Joe Budden podcast even went so far as to speculate that Drake's current output may be affected by these anti-label tactics. The gang believed that Certified Lover Boy was a throwaway, and these alleged label problems may have contributed to his apparent lack of effort. This may go a bit further across the aisle than is necessary because, of course, we doubt that the boy himself would describe his art as such. In conclusion, however, the host of the Joe Budden podcast, who goes by the same name, made the argument that too many people had a vested interest in keeping Drake under a label. Father Time does not yet know if this legal filing will be successful in court, but it could have far-reaching consequences. We'll have to wait and see if this repeats history or alters it.